put me on. Take out the tomato. Bring in this one. Here we go. Hey, we got a tomato up in the sky there. Woo! Got triple helmet. Can never be too careful, right? Can never be too careful as we go along over there. Well, good afternoon to you. We're good. Let's throw on the comments here. This way we go. And hey, it's always a pleasure hearing from you as the day progresses. Our half hour over here, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time. Not sure what the difference is. Daylight, I think with daylight, we move the clocks. Who knows? Whatever it is, it changes. There's always something that changes. Why do we change the clocks? Goes back to farming days and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Maybe there was an idea there, save electricity to save power during World War II. I don't know. There's an interesting story. I don't know the details. There's a lot of interesting stories that are out there. A lot of interesting stories about how to keep people engaged, how to get people's attention, how to get followers. And I'm not talking social media, I'm not talking about that at all, but like followers in different, different religions for one, how to get everybody's attention. I've been actually reading the book of Genesis. Yes, that's a big book. Let me tell you, big book, up to page 414, I believe it is right now. But, getting people's attention. Getting followers, getting believers, keeping folks focused. Very challenging. Doug, good afternoon to you. Keeping people focused on the goal, on what's important to you, what could be important to them, what should be important to them. If you're following religions, if you're religious, you tend to think that your religion, your way of thinking is important to many, many people. Okay, it is not important to everybody. We all have different beliefs. There are many different beliefs. Some don't believe. That's fine. Doesn't matter what it is. But when you're trying to convince a crowd of people to go and do something, which was many of the stories that took place during that period of time, how do you keep them engaged? Got to be interesting. Got to keep it relevant. Got to get their attention. One of the things I found fascinating about getting their attention as they were leaving Egypt. How do you keep everybody focused? How do you get their attention? Seems there was quite a few extreme ways, if you believe in that, to get their attention. Wow, I don't think any of us are running through the desert trying to find water, split the sea open, escape from all kinds of craziness as that goes. But we do have our own things that we're trying to keep on track with. We do have our own things that we're trying to build followers with. We do have our own ways of wanting to change the world in our own little area and keep it moving along that way. How do you keep it interesting? How do you keep it focused? And is change good? Is mixing it up every once in a while the thing to do? Well, the answer to that is absolutely. Absolutely. Change definitely is good. Minor changes along the way should happen all the time. All the time. Big changes, sometimes we got to make them. Sometimes we just have to say, all right, that's it. I was going to say I'm throwing in the towel. That sounds like defeat. I don't think that's really it. Don't throw in the towel. Just got to change it up and do something drastic. And quote Rocky on that. You remember that scene when Rocky's getting his ass kicked, right? His eyes all swelled up and something like that. He turns. He said, "Don't stop the fight. Don't stop the fight. Don't stop the fight." Cut his eye open. Oh my God, that's extreme. I have no idea what. I don't even know if I would ever get into that kind of a situation or anything like it. But wow, that was extreme. Definitely extreme. Don't do that. Don't get yourself into that kind of a situation. But changing it up every once in a while. Look, we look at business plans, we look at marketing plans, we look at the things we do, we keep track of what we do on a daily basis. And you want something? You need to look at those things. You need to see what's working, what's not, and make those changes along the way. Do them. Do them. You know what it keeps it exciting for? Keeps it exciting for ourselves. Yes, that is the most important person. Without a doubt. Have to keep it exciting for ourselves. We have to keep it exciting for ourselves. Do you need to keep it realistic for ourselves too? Why do we change something? You want to know something? I'll give you a real easy one on that one. Why do we change something? Because when we do make the change, change is good. Okay, that's all well and good. But when we do make the change and we reconfigure something, you know what we've done? We've accomplished something right then and there. That's it. That's it. Hey, maybe it's a matter of, well, as the Navy gentleman had stated too in that big speech about why you need to make your bed. Why do you need to make your bed in the morning? Very simple. It's not because it looks neat. It's because you've accomplished something. You've accomplished that. That's a good way to start the day. Why do many people exercise in the morning? Because it's a good way to start the day. You've accomplished that. It doesn't make a difference what it is, whether you're going to go for a 1 mile run, 3 mile run, a roll. Thank you. I got you on that one before you got started. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's making a smoothie in the morning, eating a healthy breakfast. Maybe it's just eating breakfast. Anything like that. It's an accomplishment. It's something to do. Do you need to change it up every once in a while to keep it exciting? Yeah. If your routine is getting old, change it. Change it. Change it. Do a different exercise if that's what it takes. You still want to make your bed. You still want to do that's an easy one. Make all the beds in the house. Do that. Clean out your closet. There you go. Paint the room. Reconfigure your room. Go through your stuff. Man, that was a big thing that I just got done with. Took a long time. Still in the final throes of it. That Pareto principle thing, the 80-20 is there. Got 80% of it done. That last 20%, can be a bit more of a challenge to go through the individual pieces of paper. But still, it was a sense of accomplishment by getting rid of, I must have gotten rid of 4 or 5 boxes of stuff, just stuff. Some other items that I haven't used in a long time, donating everything, cleaning out. It's a sense of accomplishment. It's a change, not a big change. And it's not even a change you would know about. So I start yakking about it. But it's something that the outside needs to know. There's a point on that one too. Does everybody in your organization, part of your project, need to know that you're making a change? They don't need to know. They may find out, to keep it a secret, whatever, but it doesn't have to be something outward. It has to be something inward. Because the inward thing that you do, changing it up, all of a sudden, you just become a bit more excited about whatever your goal is. And people see that. There is absolutely no way that you could hide your excitement about something. None. If you're really motivated, if you're really thrilled about something, if you really see the prospects of something, you're going to drop little words every once in a while. You're going to smile a little bit more. You're going to hey, you have that by the way conversation. Oh, I love those by the way conversations. But all these things come from those little changes that we make, little shifts as things go. So definitely do them. Definitely embrace those kind of shifts. Now, how does it affect other people? All right, granted, if they're not part of your inner core, does it matter for you to tell them? As I mentioned before, the answer is no. Absolutely not. They'll see it. They'll see it in body language. They'll see it in your vocal variety. They'll see it in the way that you speak, the way that you act, the way that you approach something. Hey, they might even see it in the way that you dress. As I sit here wearing a sweatshirt today. If I was really excited, and I'm really excited actually, it's like, okay, if I really want to take this thing to a more professional level, am I going to sit here in a sweatshirt? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think I'm putting a tie on or anything like that. Maybe we'll go back to wearing a jacket, a button-down shirt. Make sure that the lighting is a little bit better, so it's a little bit more extreme. Perhaps highlight something that's back there. Got a lot of things that are back there. Actually, got a lot of things that are back there. Looking at it, what's most important back there? Can you really tell? Nah. There's no real theme that's there. A lot of different things. But if I was really excited about one of those topics, then that changes. Do I need to tell you? No. Will you see it? Yes. And that's the point. the people that you interact with on a daily basis, weekly basis, and even monthly basis, they'll see the change. And in many cases, actually, those folks that you don't see all the time, they'll see the change more. They'll see the change as something that's more extreme than those others that see you on an ongoing basis, right? Get your hair cut, right? If you don't get your hair cut for a while, it grows a little bit longer. Does anybody really notice it? No, because I see you every day. It grows a little smidgen longer each and every day. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. But if I haven't seen you for a while, and all of a sudden your hair is 2 inches longer than normal, oh, all of a sudden it's like, wait, there's a difference. Or conversely, if you've gotten a haircut after you haven't gotten one in a while, it's like it's an extreme change. So those daily incremental changes may not be seen by those that are closest to you. But if you're going to do something that's exciting, you're going to do something that really remotivates you, which is the whole idea behind it, yeah, they'll see it. They'll see it. They'll see something different. Like, what is it that is different? Why is it that it is different? And if it's someone that's part of your team, they'll take note of it. They'll definitely take note of it to make it go. So change is good. Change is definitely good. Now, what if you want to make a big change? What if you want to make a big change? Like a real extreme change? There are different factors that get tossed into the equation here. One, is it something that will impact, your spouse, your partner, your business partner, immediate friends, yeah, depending what it is, and that kind of thing. If it's a big change, yeah, you know what? Now all of a sudden that's something that you need to discuss with people and go figure out that best course of action for you to do it. But then ultimately the same thing happens. Obviously, the inner core will know what the inner thinking is because now you're not thinking internally. You're not acting alone. You're acting with a group of people. So they'll see it. And they'll know what's going on. And if you do it right, as a leader, if you really do it right, you're going to get buy-in on the whole thing. Just like you would get buy-in with yourself. Just if you're going to get buy-in with yourself, it's all right, I'm going to take on that project of clearing out the attic. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I've been speaking about doing it for about a year before I actually did it. And then it's like, boom, once you're in, you're in. I'm committed to making it happen. If you do that same thing with your group, let's call it your inner core. You do the same thing with your inner core, and you get total buy-in on making the change, on the idea of making the change, and then the process of making the change, and then actually implementing making the change. Now you got something that's real strong, and perhaps something that's even stronger than what you began with. Entrepreneurs, you can get with me on this one, right? You're an entrepreneur. You start your own business. It's good. You're going good. Now all of a sudden, you really start focusing on how you finally understand those things that you're really good at and those things that you're not so good at or you just really don't want to do. This goes back to the pay attention to things that you do pretty well. And if you put a little bit more effort into it, you can do really well. But those things you don't really do well, you can put a ton of effort into, and you're like, it's not much of a change. So that's why you would bring in partners. So you have your partners, you have your inner core. Your inner core gets together because you want them to. That's problem one. It should be something that they want to, that everybody wants to see it as a group. Float the idea. Let it kind of fester for a while. Look, if it's business, letting it sit for a year might be a little bit too long, depending upon your situation. But if you have your inner core and you want to get them together, you want everybody kind of really take a look at what's going on, about how you're approaching something, about how you as a group are approaching something. Put a couple of feelers out over there. Hey, what do you think? Ask some questions. Don't offer solutions. Just ask some questions. What do you think about us getting together and kind of taking a look at the way we market? What do you think about our course structure? Is there anything we could do different? Let it go. Let it go. Wait for them to start coming back to you. You put those questions out over there, And then you could ask the next question. What do you think if we got the whole group together? We got our 3 people together, 5 people together, that inner core together. Go figure out a game plan that really works for everybody. Kind of revisit it. Here's what you have right then and there. You got full buy-in. Got full buy-in by the group. Who's the leader? Yeah, you're still the leader. You're still the motivating factor over here. You're still the gel that brings it all together. Call it whatever you'd like to on that one. But once a group decides that the group wants to get together because the group feels, that inner core group feels that something can be done to make things better, something that could be done to make things more efficient for your efforts. Now, all of a sudden, that's the biggest hurdle of them all, because that group is now motivated to make a change because they're all coming to the table with their own thoughts about what could be done better. So they all have that beautiful thing. It's called a vested interest in a more effective operation. Now, when suggestions are made, it's a collective thought process that goes along with it. It's not just you barking orders. It's not just you telling everybody what we're going to do. It's everybody making the suggestions. It's everybody contributing their own thought process that goes along with it. That will drive, that'll drive success, because now you've got folks that want to see the change. And if everybody really wants to see the change and everybody believes in the outcome, maybe not everybody believes in the exact steps to get to that total outcome, but if everybody really believes in that outcome and everybody wants to see the outcome, that big picture thing that you painted out there, remember, you were the one who threw out all those questions in the beginning. You were the one that mentioned about reducing costs. You were the one that mentioned about looking at a more effective marketing plan. You were the one that brought up the idea of building up the customer base. You were the one that brought that stuff up. So you definitely have some thoughts on that one. I'm sure you do. But so do they. It creates a discussion. And once you're discussing something and everybody contributes a little bit of something, you have group buy-in. So much more important to have group buy-in than your thought as it goes along. Oh, I know. You're the one who started the company. You're the one that started this project. It's all about you. Nah, it's not. It's all about your vision, maybe. But you brought these people on for a reason. You have an inner core because you know that's what makes sense. You made that change a long time ago. You made the change of going it alone and deciding that you need the assistance. You want the assistance. You want to see things improve. You want to be able to delegate. You want to see about accomplishing more as a group rather than just as an individual. And seeing those individuals as part of the group succeed in their own right and use their own skills, their own talents to highlight themselves for one, but to make that project that much more successful. That's a group meeting. That's a very effective group meeting. And if you can get everybody to work together to contribute to each other's success, that's a change agent right then and there. That's a change that'll be clear to the outside world, because all of a sudden you're going to start at one place and you're going to kind of migrate out to another. Give the analogy we had, on that one. Not this house, but another house we moved into, right? So what do? We painted the room for my son. That's my son's room, whatever. Fresh coat of paint, Then all of a sudden, once we got that done, it's like, So the hallway looked a little old. Then once we did the hallway, then all of a sudden the living room and the den and everything got just kind of grow and grow and grow. Everything got changed. Was it worth it in the end? Yeah, it was worth it in the end. Was it painful in the process? Yeah, I would say it was painful in the process as that went along. But it's the greatest thing in the world, because activity breeds activity. So if you can get your group of folks to start working together, really truly working together. Not everybody has their own area their own area, and it's a silo. But if your group of people can really truly work together, where they're assisting each other to help each other better, whatever their responsibility is, whatever their main responsibility is, now all of a sudden your group could accomplish a heck of a lot more than any one person could do alone. And it'll start. All of a sudden your way of marketing is going to change a little bit, and then it's going to migrate into, well, if we're going to do that and we're going to change the way we market, and then maybe you need another expert to come in and, I don't know, social media or digital marketing, whatever it might be, all of a sudden it's a refresh on the Facebook page, the LinkedIn page. Maybe it is a matter of opening up one of those TikTok accounts, could be, or Instagram accounts. Maybe it also is a complete refresh on the website. Could very well be that about section. Well, you know what? It's not about you as an entrepreneur anymore. It's about the team. That about section now becomes the team about section, and how the team is working together. And maybe each one of those members gets a page, but it grows, it grows, it grows, it grows, it grows. And as each of those team members sees their contribution as meaning more and more and more, they're going to wind up telling other people. And then your reach, your visibility is all going to continue to increase. And isn't that something? Isn't that what we were aiming for right in the beginning stages of everything? When you started your project, when you started your company, when you started your effort, didn't you really want to make a difference? Didn't you want to lead people to a better way of living, a better life, to be able to achieve more, to be able to see those opportunities, to be able to accomplish and to take on and to have the confidence to achieve those goals that they have? Of course it is. Is it most important that you're the highlight of the company? Or is it most important that you're able to achieve what that mission statement was in your company, and be able to do that with the cooperation, assistance, teamwork with all your other inner core people? There lies the difference between a go-it-aloner or somebody that's working, as a small group. And it still may be very well your company, and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But there is much more that can be accomplished when you're part of a team. Official or unofficial depends upon your situation. But build that team. Build that team. And ultimately, how do you build that team? Well, it starts with taking the first step. Starts with you. Starts with you making a small change, keeping yourself engaged in that effort. Maybe it is something that's behind the scenes. Maybe it is just a matter of like going out and, I don't know, eating better because you'll feel better about yourself. Maybe it is a matter of writing down notes. Maybe it is about cleaning out, the attic and some of those boxes. I know what happened with me when I started doing that. I ran across a whole bunch of different things that were activities and different events and things like that I did, forgot all about. It's like, wow, you know what? That was that was fun. That was interesting. This is what I learned about that. Even starting to read that book, it's like, okay, you take a look at it, you take a look at some of those stories, and you could see it as it applies to you about motivating people. Some of those business books, some of the other books that I have behind me that I've read through, it's like, you think about those things, and I found a whole box of other books that I've collected along the way too. It's like, what was it about that? What is the common thread on those things? Kind of makes you think. Because now all of a sudden I think that's giving you a better reflection on you. And what do you do with it? Therein lies the change. So find those things that you have tucked away someplace. Find those things that you have in the closet, the bottom of your closet, tucked away in the attic. See what it is at that point in time in your life that attracted you to that, or why that meant something. Bring it out. Put it behind you. Put it on a bookshelf. The other stuff that you run across, it's clutter. It's clutter. Throw it out. Donate it. Do whatever you need to do with that. Get rid of all those things. Get rid of those things that are not really important to you. Because now, all of a sudden, we know what we want to accomplish as we continue on over here. We get a clearer understanding of what it is that we really want to do. Some people, it's a matter of what they really need to do. Incremental changes, hey, that's great if that's where you're at. We're just making incremental changes to make things go. But I've run across a few stories too, which is something I run across on one book. I actually wrote, I wrote the forward for one of the books. I was a gentleman that went through a whole massive change, big time problems. Spent years in prison, actually. Talk about change. He went from that to completely reinventing himself. That's extreme. That's extreme. And to such an extent extreme, he decided to write a book about it. And he changed everything about himself. Everything, which was good. Changed everything about himself. Maybe most of us don't have to make that kind of a massive change. But we need to stay engaged, whatever it is. To just kind of float along, well, nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Make those changes, little changes, big changes, little small accomplishments along the way. Whatever it is that you need to do to stay engaged, do it. And when it's something, and maybe the best way to stay engaged every once in a while is to disengage. And we'll talk about that one on a future one, but disengage. Meditation, going for a walk, just taking the day off, like just completely taking the day off and coming back refreshed and then start again. When you want to know something, that's a change also. But do that change. Do that thing. Do that little accomplishment. Make a little minor shifts in what you're doing. Bring your team in if you're working with a team. Make those things, make those changes, make those incremental moves in order to, one, keep yourself engaged, two, keep yourself motivated. And if you're working with a team, you got to keep that team motivated. And it will grow, just like that room we painted. It just continued on. Oh, it just continued on and on and on. But so will the success of your team and the success of your business and the way people see everything. Because when you do that, people will see it. And everybody gravitates toward people that are actually doing and accomplishing something. Not just talking about doing something, but doing something. Be the change agent. Start with yourself, grow it into your team, and then affect those people that are surrounding you. And that, my friend, is absolute success. Keep going with it. I know you can do it. And when you do that, you will definitely speak well, speak often, and live inspired. People will follow. That's a guarantee.